one and all, to the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast. Grand reopening here at the Royal Rumble. I am your King of Extreme, Phil KOE, the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man that makes the other podcast cower, the prince and potentate of the political parlance, the lord of the Scottish Highlands, one handsome man if I do say so myself. You can, of course, find me at KOE Nation on YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, Twitter, and right here at the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast. And I am joined right here by my indomitable broadcast partner. Oh, it's been too long since I've been able to say that. The one, the only,
the 16-time Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast champion, non-chill filter, quadruple distilled, your blend master of ceremonies himself, Tony motherfucking G. And you can find me at all of my socials and podcasting iterations right here at this little link that's right there. Linktree/Tony the Rod. And yes, we are back, baby. We are back. The Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast. We took quite a bit of a hiatus in 2024 with varying things going on and just life in general. We didn't really get to do much in 24. We had a few hits here and there, but for the most part, we were pretty dormant.
Yeah, the last quarter of 2024, the family of Extreme was expanded. I had a baby, so that tended to eat up a little bit of time. But folks, now we are getting into the best time of the year, WrestleMania season. We're on the road to WrestleMania, and it starts today at the Royal Rumble. Now, T,
we had to come back for the Rumble. The Rumble is basically the epitome of the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast, because we started doing this show pre-recorded, audio only, back in 2018 with the Royal Rumble. And then in 2020, we got to go to Houston for the Royal Rumble. We can't skip this show. And as far as a review goes, we're going to figure that out here. It's probably not going to be right after the show, but we're going to get that to you too,
folks. But you know what? It just occurred to me, T, we're 3 years away from the 10-year anniversary of the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast. I mean, we got to keep this. We got to keep this bad boy rolling. Now, T, I will say about speaking of rolling tonight, its card is just so stacked. There's so many matches. This reminds me of an AEW pay-per-view. I mean,
there are very few there's almost as many matches on this card as there are on an AEW pre-show. So
now, granted, I will give them credit. I was watching the second week of Monday Night Raw on Netflix, and there's more matches on this show than was on that 3-hour Monday Night Raw. So, you know, there is that.
So this is a very short card, but they're still going to manage to spread this over.
The Royal Rumble matches are going to probably be an hour apiece.
The Royal Rumble matches will be a minimum an hour apiece, and then you've got 2 other matches. So you're looking at 3 hours of wrestling roughly, and it'll probably be a 4-hour show. So be prepared for that. And I think this is going to be a little bit better overall in terms of what Royal Rumbles that you're used to. I have a feeling that Triple H is probably going to find a little bit better way to hone in on his storytelling, because last year's Rumble, a lot of criticism on this just didn't feel like a Rumble. How could it without Pat Patterson, for God's sake? And now it's Triple H's baby. So it was a rough start, but we're back, and I think it's going to be a lot more fun this year. But we're going to start out not with the Rumble matches, but we're going to start out with what's a big match, but let's be frank, like there's not gonna be any surprises.
We'll save the Rumble matches for last, but okay, so we've all right, Tony, I think we can.
Kevin Owens with his Winged Eagle ripoff belt that he's not actually the champion. It's the true title.
I'm really looking forward
against Cody Rhodes, the champion.
Cody Rhodes holding both those title belts on top of the ladder at the end of this match. That is the inevitable, like, as sure as death and taxes conclusion to this match.
So you've got Cody winning this?
Like Tony, I tell you, if Cody loses this, I will just bypass even challenging for your title in Elimination Chamber.
I mean, Cody doesn't lose at the Royal Rumble. We've come to learn this since his return to WWE. Even when he shouldn't win the Rumble, he wins the Rumble.
WrestleMania, on the other hand, that's, you know,
he does all right at WrestleMania, I think.
I mean, granted, he got to main event twice in a row. How do you not brag that to your buddies?
3 times, really, actually.
Yeah.
He main evented twice in one weekend, for God's sake.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting a little technical there, but yes, actually, you're correct. There are actually two people who've main evented WrestleMania because Kevin Owens has been the night one, Mr. Night One main event for WrestleMania with Stone Cold, with
True.
me as tag partner. I mean, that's been kind of his bag. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if that's what he does this year, is he's in some way, shape, or form the main event of night one.
Yeah, this is going to be a good match. I have high hopes for it, but the winner's inevitable. This is Cody Rhodes for sure. It's going to be Cody. There's no reason to take the belt off him now heading into Mania, unless you're one of those few really hoping for a world championship Sami Zayn Kevin Owens main event, which as good as that would be, folks, that's just not in the cards. It's just not in the cards this year. So yeah, we've both got Cody Rhodes. Not a big surprise here. Should be a good match, though. Speaking of another good match, let's skip ahead a little bit. There it is. We have got the Motor City Machine Guns taking on the World Tag Team Champions, DIY, in a 2 out of 3 falls match.
Can I just say that I'm so happy that we are finally coming to the end of the ugly belts era in WWE?
Yes.
Like,
This was a breath of fresh air.
We're
when
starting to actually
oh,
respect our past rather than run away from it because Vince
yes.
McMahon, because the old belts just made Vince feel old. That was the only reason we didn't go back to the Winged Eagle or this style of tech, because the old belts made Vince feel old. When the rest of the fans, it made them feel nostalgic, which nostalgia is, I mean, you can't buy that, okay? Like, that's something that has to be created. And
this is a great callback to the classic WWF Tag Team Championships, or even the SmackDown, one of those original SmackDown designs. I think this is a great callback.
Yeah.
Love these belts. Now, that being said, I love the Motor City Machine Guns. I have been a fan of theirs since back in the day when I was only watching Impact, when it was worth watching. And these guys were a big reason why. I just, every time I see them, I'm always reminded of their best of 7 series with Beer Money, James Storm, Bobby Roode. My God, that was some of the best tag team wrestling of the last decade during that era. And good God, Ciampa, he's so good in the ring, and Gargano, he's there too.
Oh, okay, let me say this. As Jim Cornette would say, Johnny Same Face.
Johnny Same Face, yes.
Now, he's really good in the ring, but he needs Gargano to basically be the personality for him. Now,
this is going to be good, though. Like, a 2 out of 3 falls match, this is right in both teams' wheelhouse. I think this is one of those things that,
who you got?
We gotta fill a lot of time here with only 4 matches, and this is a great novelty for a match like this. So I'm really excited to see how they tell this story. I think a title switch here is going to be too soon, so I'm gonna stick with DIY to retain.
Oh, you're going with...
Yeah, I'm going to go with DIY, who we have seen live in person, Phil.
We have. You and I have, like, that is a perfectly valid reason. Now, I'm going to, well, T, when you look over this just expansive card with, literally dozens of title matches, there's so many other chances for the fans to see a title change at this big event. So, I don't like it, but I'm going to go with the Motor City Machine Guns just because this is the only chance that they have to put a new belt on somebody, and they love doing that at the pay-per-view. So people could say, I was there when so-and-so was crowned champion. Okay? They love that. I mean, every time we've gone to live events, whenever that, like, Tony, you and I still brag about a house show where Brock Lesnar defended his undisputed title against The Undertaker. Okay? True. Like, I'm going to regretfully go for the Motor City Machine Guns, but that's kind of my wild card pick, truth be told.
That's fair. I think this is kind of a toss-up because while we have put a lot more meat back in the tag team divisions, we're not there in terms of it meaning what it used to mean when tag team was on, a par with a world championship or an intercontinental title. So this is a good step towards that, but we can kind of dish that belt around a little bit still, and especially with teams like this. So I think I really feel like DIY will retain, but I wouldn't be upset if I was wrong for sole purpose.
I wouldn't be upset if I was. I think it'd be better for DIY to retain, but I'm just looking at the card and I know what kind of reactions they're going to want to get out of the audience, and I'm just thinking, because Cody's going to be holding them 2 belts. Like, you can bet your bottom dollar. Like, that's going down. But all righty, so we move on to the women's.
Do the women's or the men's?
Let's save the real Royal Rumble match for last.
Wow.
I mean, I'm sorry, but last year's Women's Rumble was the first one that was actually competing on par with the Men's Rumble, was actually even a little bit better. And it was the first time. We had to sit through a lot of bad Rumbles to get here. And the Women's Rumble match still has to prove itself, okay? The first year got main event just because of the skeptical.
I said last year on last year's.
I didn't. I thought it was actually slightly better booked than the men's.
I agree 100%.
But
I was actually
that
sucked
being
in
said,
more.
it is still the new kid on the block. Okay, the Royal Rumble match has been around since the late 80s, early 90s in one form or another. The women's Royal Rumble match, has not even been around for as long as we've had a podcast.
Yeah, 2018 was the first year.
Okay. So as long as we've had a podcast.
As long.
But I got call me what you will, but I'm sorry. This match still has a lot of credibility it needs to earn with the fans. So I said what I said. Wash me in your judgment.
Yeah. So this is I want to reiterate what we do for the Royal Rumble matches themselves. We pick a 3-point winner. That's the one we think is going to absolutely 100% win more than anybody else. We've got a 2-point. That's the one we're like, man, if only something was slightly different, that's who would win. And then we've got a 1-point. It's kind of more of our dark horse pick. So we're going to start out with, do you want to start with the returns, or do you want to start out with the surprises, or do you want to start out with the picks? Because
let's start with the picks and surprises for last.
Okay, now let me make this clear. So I kind of threw a different. Usually we pick a couple surprises or returns, and this year I made a distinction because it's kind of there's a difference between the two, Phil. Like, a return is somebody who's been out on injury, who's been booked off, or took time off for something else. But they're still, they're part of the show. We know that they're coming back eventually. That's a return. A surprise would be like somebody jumping ship from AEW, New Japan, the Indies, or a legend, something of that nature. You know what I mean? So we're going to have one of each of those, a surprise and a return.
Ooh, okay. I have not
been
keeping
throw
up
a wrench in the gears.
I have not been keeping up with the injured roster on the women's side. So,
well, there's
a lot.
There's a few. I mean, whether it was because of a pregnancy, like an Alexa Bliss, or a storyline injury, like a Jade Cargill, or written off, like a Charlotte Flair. And for the record, Charlotte Flair is announced for the match, so that's not a return. Like, if they've already
dang it! I read her name. I was like, well,
I know that's the easy pick too. But John Cena in the men's, he's already announced. So, there's a difference. If we know for sure, and look at her. She's she's in the middle of the picture, for God's sake.
Okay, so basically somebody that's under contract that's just been away for a while versus somebody that's just doing a one-off signing night.
So we'll go this way. I have a couple that would coincide with my picks maybe. So you go first, sir. I'm going to go with my women's surprise.
Okay,
and
let's do that.
I think that's going to be Jordynne Grace. She showed up last year, but that's when the TNA WWE relation was tepid at best. They've really smoothed this out to where they really feel like they're going to have a good working relationship with each other. And NXT hasn't really been seen as the real developmental for a long time. And I think Triple H kind of looks that way and goes, that could actually be a developmental, like NXT was. And I thought she had a good showing last year. So I think she's the no-brainer to make another surprise return to the Rumble match. I don't think she has a belt anymore over there. I could be wrong about that.
So that's your surprise.
That's my surprise, Jordan Grace.
And then who's your injury comeback or unexpected?
So I'm really torn on this one because every inch of me wants to say Alexa Bliss. She's been out because she had a baby. It's been almost a year and a half, I think, since that. It's been a long time since she's been on TV. I think this is a perfect place. And especially since they've been downplaying it, they kind of hyped it up a little bit and then said all those plans kind of got set to the back burner. So I think that could be them trying to play us and then surprise us with her return. But I'm going to have to go. I got to go with Becky Lynch. She's been gone too. And I think it makes more sense to bring her back before WrestleMania season than it does Alexa Bliss. Like, you could save Alexa Bliss for like the night after Mania. Becky Lynch, you kind of need just to meet up that with all of her accolades. I think Becky Lynch makes more sense to add more meat to the match. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right. Like, I'm going to cheat here, but you convinced me. That's going to be my comeback is Becky Lynch. I was even, yeah, I'm going to concur, but my surprise is going to be for a one night return is I'm torn between one of these two. It's either going to be Victoria or Lita.
Victoria or Lita?
Victoria. I'm going to go with Victoria because that's a safety pick because she's always down for a night.
Okay.
She just don't want to sign long-term contracts. So that's going to be my Victoria's making a surprise like, oh, hey, Vic, welcome back. Because if you notice, like out of the 5 women's Royal Rumbles or 6 women's Royal Rumbles that they've done, like she's been there for 4 of them and then never to return. Like she's like Santa Claus. She comes but once a year. So that's my pick for that. Now, your 1 point, your third most likely to win candidate, sir.
This pains me to make this pick, Phil. I want you to understand that. My 1 point pick to win the Women's Rumble, she's fucked me so hard on these picks so many times in the past, but there's actually a storyline there this time. I'm picking Nia Jax as my 1 point pick because you've got the automatic storyline. She's going to get revenge for, Stratton turning on her, taking the title. You can play that into Mania. It'll be an easy, quick squash match, or you could even have Tiffy go over, depending on how you want to play it. But I think that's an easy rivalry kind of made for this moment, and Nia Jax is an obvious choice for that.
Yeah, my normal 1 point pick would have been Jade Cargill, but she's been kind of written out.
Yeah, I don't know. They've kind of cooled on
So
her,
my 1 point, I don't know why. I mean, she's one of the biggest, like, to be frank, she's one of the biggest stars in the women's division.
Sure,
whether anybody wants to admit that or not. What's that?
I agree completely.
Yeah. So my 1 point pick, I'm not very confident in this, but there is storyline to back it up, would be Liv Morgan.
And I don't hate that. I kind of like it. It does extend the Ripley Morgan feud.
Yes. Now, what's your 2 points pick? The second most likely.
This one, you might think I'm kind of crazy, but I alluded to it earlier. I'm going to go with Jordan Grace because I feel like
putting a lot on Jordan Grace showing up.
I am. And I think that's because she had a good showing last time around. She's really, like, in the last several years, she's really buckled down on her physique and her
I was about to say, was she that girl with that incredible upper body strength?
Incredible, yeah.
Okay,
she went from being an impressive worker to an impressive physique and worker, and that's perfect for this. And she had such good showing last year. And with this new partnership with TNA, if Triple H wants to, like, bring somebody up, this makes perfect sense to me. So what better way to do that than have her come in and win the whole damn thing? It's an instant star in that regard. That's what the Royal Rumble's supposed to be. Used to be, for God's sake.
I mean, that would be like what Pat Patterson would do, but, we're a few years beyond that. We did get to see the last Royal Rumble agented by Pat Patterson.
Yes.
You and I live. That was something. But
Oh,
all right,
goodness.
my 2-point pick is kind of a safety pick. Okay, but it would also kind of set her up to kind of get to that next level, which she's always lacked, no matter how much they try. She just can't. She's the only one of the 4 horsewomen that just couldn't break that barrier, and that's Bayley. I think she needs another Rumble win, one more big, like, night one WrestleMania co-main event W to really finally cement her as because, like, you know what I mean. You can throw her in a main event in a pinch, but she's the person that helps the person that sells the tickets. She's not the person that sells the tickets. This might help her get there.
I feel like at this point, they've kind of cooled on the idea of making her a champion. Like, they got their last run out, and now they're going to utilize her to build up new stars. So I don't expect her to win.
Having her drop the belt to somebody would be a good way to make a new star.
Yeah, that's fair. I can't disagree with that. And good afternoon, Universal. Thanks for joining us.
Hello, Universal.
As always, if anybody's got any
I love
comments,
your studio.
If anybody's got any comments or agreements or disagreements, drop them in the comments.
Your title, not as much. Okay, the Universal title. I mean, it had its moments, but all right. Your 3.
Universal says he was at the Rumble rehearsals this morning. Ooh,
well, nice. I mean, so we got the exclusive. Are you kidding me? Well done, well done. So
that leaves us with our 3-point pick, Phil, and I have a feeling ours is probably both the same.
Doubt it. Let's hear yours.
Really?
Yep.
I'm going with Charlotte Flair. It's the no-brainer. She's right there in the freaking center of the picture, Phil.
That would be a no-brainer. But my 3-point pick is going to be there's something that you forgot about, Tony.
Okay.
My 3-point pick is going to be, I'm not like most girls because most girls can wrestle. Yes, Nia Jax. Now, Tony, of all the people pictured in that photograph, how many of them share genetic chromosomes with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson?
Probably more than you think.
Okay, which one has the most?
I guess Nia Jax, if we're gonna.
Yes, Nia Jax. I don't know if you've noticed this, Tony, but WWE Entertainment needs an N for nepotism somewhere in there, because, like, have you noticed Jey Uso's entrance is like 45 fucking minutes long? Like, what the fuck? Like, and this motherfucker carries himself thinking he's The Rock. It's the funniest thing. It's like, dude, you need to add at least 72 pounds of muscle before you even think about getting in that territory.
Universal asks who we think will be in the final 4 of the Women's Rumble. I'm gonna say
Nia and Charlotte definitely will. I think Nia eliminates Charlotte.
I think Nia, Charlotte. I think Jordan Grace will be up there if she doesn't win the thing. Because how else do you build a star if you're not going to have them win it? You put them in the final 4. That speaks volumes. And I would almost say like a Liv Morgan or maybe Bayley for consistency's sake, but I doubt it. I would go Liv before Bayley.
Yeah, like I kind of gotta agree with Tony on that one. So, but we will see. Now, T, let us move on to the main event.
All right. So
see who goes to the main event of WrestleMania.
So we've got the man, the 30-man. There were rumors it could be 40-man, but I don't think that's going to happen. Thank God. The 30-man Royal Rumble match. So I'll just read off who is announced for that because there's a bit of a list here. It's actually pretty good. Announced for it: LA Knight, John Cena, CM Punk, Jey Uso, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, Rey Mysterio, Sami Zayn, Shinsuke Nakamura, Logan Paul, Penta, Chad Gable, Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes, Damian Priest, Santos Escobar, and Jacob Fatu for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11,
15
12,
to be announced.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 announced, leaving 12 spots as surprises, which actually isn't that many. Like, that's the meatier match right there. I can understand keeping 12 a secret, but most of that's going to be filled in with Raw and SmackDown and probably some NXT. Probably quite a few NXT. Plus, you've got to have your surprises and your returns. So let's
Can
see
I
what
just
happens
say,
here.
this is one of the most stacked Rumble cards since 2015, which I remember that one was huge. 1992, 2019, those were all years that really stacked. This one's got John Cena, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Logan Paul. I mean, this is pretty, like, that alone is pretty stacked.
This is a good question because I almost went with this as my surprise. Will AJ Lee be back? I won't be a bit surprised if AJ Lee does finally show up.
I would. I think she's
And
just done.
Solid question here from Quasim Royal Beat. What the fuck indeed?
I don't know.
Fuck indeed. There have no match.
Yeah, there aren't very many matches on this card, but alrighty.
Yeah,
T?
4 matches. Universal also saying he has all the participants for both as well as the winners. I don't want to hear him yet if you do have that actual list.
I was about to say,
definitely drop it after we make our picks.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, yeah, after we make our picks, drop that and we'll compare history to your prediction.
For sure.
Anyways. But
so let's start out with the returns of the men's, because this is this could go a few ways. I feel like there's got to be a couple. There's not going to be a lot, though, I don't think, with that many already announced.
Okay, who you got for your return?
No, you go ahead. I'm going to let you go first.
Okay, this one's tough. Because Seth Rollins is back. He's not selling an arm this week, like he is every week. I'm trying to think who is,
What's up? Graveyard shit. And Jerry
There
Santos.
was
That could be the opening match, if not the second match or third match. But I'm guessing second match, honestly.
I didn't really have who's the injured guy that's going to come back that I had considered, but someone who we haven't seen. Is The Miz in this?
I didn't say his name, but I mean,
I think he's been on the injured list for a little while.
Yeah,
He's been injured with a knee injury, so he's going to be maybe he's going to be in the Rumble match because he's just coming back. So that'd be like, I'm sorry, you threw a monkey wrench right at the beginning of the show. Now, my surprise, you're going to hate this, but you're going to love this. My surprise, who holds the record for most eliminations in Royal Rumble history, Tony?
Roman, I believe.
No. By God, that's gotta be Kane! That's gotta be Kane! Yes, the mayor of Knoxville County, Tennessee, is going to make a return tonight at the Royal Rumble to really fill out the superstar roster.
Google says it's technically Braun Strowman with 13 at the greatest. Brock Lesnar follows with 13 in 2020. So, no, it's Brock.
No. I mean, who has the most eliminations overall across the entire career?
Okay.
That would be Kane.
You're going with Kane.
Yep.
Kane. And you're going with The Miz. I don't even know if he's injured. I don't know about that, Phil. I don't like it. So with my return, I'm going to go with AJ Styles because this is probably one of his last. It's probably his last Rumble, if we're going to be honest. I think
he's probably got more. Like he says, it's his last one, so
Universal
that the number gets bigger for his next contract that he signs.
And waiting for the Cody match, Jared. We did already discuss that, and we both have Cody Rhodes winning this thing hands down. It's just. It has to be Cody because there's no way they're going to change the belt before WrestleMania, regardless of who wins this match. Regardless. So I think Cody Rhodes is a no-brainer to win this one. My return is AJ Styles, and my surprise, I considered Nick Nemeth, the former Dolph Ziggler. I considered Matt Cardona. But I'm gonna go with say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. Has to be, because that will be one of the biggest pops of the night, Phil. Guaranteed.
Pain.
Pain doesn't matter. Pain don't hurt, Phil. Pain don't hurt. It's gonna happen, and you're gonna love it.
Okay.
And I'm gonna love it even
Now,
more.
what's your shock surprise? Oh my goodness, I can't believe it.
Joe Hendry.
All right, then who's your return?
AJ Styles.
Oh, that's right. I'm
Covered
sorry.
this.
I'm sorry. All right, now 1 point pick. I have a feeling it's going to be just us picking the same 3 people in different orders.
Yeah, that's probably true. Who's your 1 point?
The man who has a very good tactical advantage in this match, given that normally grappling requires an ability to see him. And he is the man who cannot be seen.
Also, my 1 point pick, John Cena. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if your 2 point pick is CM Punk, I'm gonna slap you.
God damn it, Phil.
Let me guess. Your 3 point pick is Roman.
No, it's not.
Okay, well that's mine.
Ah. Okay. So we've got the one that matters, the 3 point different. Thank goodness. Okay. So I've got CM Punk. I've also got CM Punk as my 2 point pick. Because first off, 1 point, I think it makes sense for Cena to win this a little bit, because that's how you send him off in his farewell tour, a Royal Rumble win, maybe a match in Mania. I don't know. The timing is weird for his farewell tour, unless it's going to extend to next Mania. I don't know. But why not a Rumble win for the guy on his way out who's given so much? And then, yeah, number 2, CM Punk. It's a no-brainer. He's got so many instant feuds. Last year's last 2 guys, Punk and Cody. Punk gets it done this time, and you can set up a chance for him to actually finally main event night 1, because it'll probably won't pick Cody. I think this makes too much sense. CM Punk is your 2 point. And Phil, why is Roman your 3 point pick?
Because him and Cody for the rematch is still money.
That's fair, but that'd be 3 straight Manias, Phil, of a Roman Cody matchup. I don't think they can do it.
I think they can, and I think you, me, and all the other WWE fans will slurp it up happily. Please, may I have some more? Like, yeah, that they're gonna, and this will be. I could see this being the final. This could be the final act in there. Because think about it. They both have a W at WrestleMania's main event against each other. This one is the final. Who is the real boss? Who is the real head of WWE once and for all? And
so, you
so
know,
you're
the
telling
deal
me you wouldn't want to see that?
I'm not saying I wouldn't want to see it. I'm just saying I don't think they're going to do it. You know, the deal has a great comment here and an idea I actually would love to see. Final boss comes out at never before number 31, Rock, Cena, Punk, Roman, Final 4. I love that idea. It'd be fantastic. I think 31 people, it would just be an awesome little curveball they could throw in there for no good reason other than to shock everybody there. I think they should do it regardless of who it would be. I think 31 would be awesome. Universal said he'll answer all of our questions when we're ready. So
that would be bullshit. Rock comes out.
Momentarily.
I'm number 31. Fuck you. Like
I know I just turned face, but I'm a heel again.
Yeah.
So my 3 point pick, Phil. Do you remember who won the 2018 Royal Rumble? Our first one reviewing.
It wasn't Nakamura. That was the next.
It was
year.
Nakamura.
It was? Okay. You
Yeah,
think
it
Nakamura's going to win?
No, I'm kidding. Do you remember who was, I believe, 2019?
Fuck, I can't off the top of my head. I'm sorry.
Well, 2020 we know was Drew McIntyre. We got to see that. So 2019 would have been the year that instead of him main eventing for the world title match, he opened the show and defeated Brock Lesnar for the Universal title.
Oh, Seth.
It was Seth freaking Rollins, Phil.
You think Seth freaking Rollins is going to take the W here?
I do, and I think I'm going to tell you why. Because this would actually be some long-term storytelling. when Cody Rhodes came back at Mania, 40, 38. He came back at WrestleMania 38. And he had a match with Seth Rollins, who was just trying to get a match. And he beats Seth Rollins. And then they had 2 more matches. And I thought, this is ridiculous because Cody won the second one. And then in the third one, in a Hell in a Cell match, Cody literally tore his tricep and his arm is just the color purple. It made too much sense. I'm like, okay, Cody can lose this match, has a valid reason. The rubber match is different than your first 2, and it would give him a reason to have a rematch eventually. Nope, Cody sweeps him 3-0 with an injury. And I thought it was horrible storytelling. And then last year, I didn't like the way they had Cody win the Rumble back-to-back, but it made sense eventually. Fine, whatever. And then the build-up, and he's partners with Rollins night 1, and Rollins has to lose in the night 1 main event in the tag match, and then the following night, he loses his championship, so he's a double loser on Mania. And then in the main event with Cody and Roman, Seth Rollins basically just got his absolute ass kicked. Ate the chair shot from Roman. He was the shield for Cody. Basically, and he showed up and got his ass kicked. Basically, Seth Rollins was made to be the world's biggest joke last year at WrestleMania 40. The payoff for Seth Rollins comes tonight. Seth Rollins gets a Rumble win again and gets to go for a world championship. Now, I don't know if it'll be Cody and Rollins because that would make a lot of sense. That would make a lot of sense. But what if Rollins wins the other title and then gets to challenge a CM Punk or a McIntyre? There's a lot of ways you could go with this, but ultimately you could have a Rollins-Cody match that would be full-term storytelling. So I'm interested to see how it works out, but I do think above and beyond, Seth Rollins gets the payoff for having to be the biggest joke last year and wins the Royal Rumble tonight.
Well, we shall see. So we're both betting on the better 2 members of the Shield tonight.
Let's be frank, the only real members of the Shield.
Yeah. As Cornette would say, Plumber Moxley is not really impressed. Like I'll say he had a handful of good matches in AEW start off, but it's all been the same match since then.
So we've got Universal in the comments. Hopefully you're still here. I would love to hear who's winning the men's, the women's, and the other 2, so we can compare this.
We would love if you're here. Give us in the comments your what you saw, and we will compare that with Ultimate History here. And then if that's the case, Universal, when you come sauntering into the comments, we'll probably be listening up when you say, "Hey, sure. I saw a thing." Oh, okay. So. See,
I don't know. I'm excited for this Rumble because I feel like I said at the beginning, I think this is the Triple H jumping off point and really honing
I'll be back in 40 seconds.
How he can tell a story in a Royal Rumble match. He's probably got a lot more of his agenting staff and his writing room honed in more on this Rumble match. Last year, it was kind of a last minute, him taking the reins and kind of leading the charge in terms of how this thing was going to unfold. And I don't know that he was quite up for the task. That's why a lot of people really kind of didn't love it. So I think this is the year you see Triple H kind of come into his own in terms of what he can do with a Royal Rumble. So I'm very excited to see how this unfolds. Ultimately, the Rumble isn't your make or break, but it is such a vital piece heading into WrestleMania because it's the image that lasts with people before we get to WrestleMania. And WrestleMania is such a big 2-night spectacle now that if you have a poor showing in the Royal Rumble for the fans, it kind of leads you flat on the road to WrestleMania because, we're going to have events in between. But you've got to build that story here, and it starts tonight with this. So, with that being said, Universal's dropping this. The Women's Rumble Final Four. Here we go. Final Four, Jax, Bayley, Charlotte
and Becky.
Okay, and who's the winner?
We will
Who
see.
is the
Did you
winner?
catch the men's final four?
And the men's final four, he is saying, will be Cena, Punk, Rollins, and Roman. Wow, all four that we. So those are the four that we actually both picked. We'll see how that unfolds. Now,
Yeah,
I'd love to hear who the winners are going to be in that if they revealed that to you. I think that makes sense. I mean, as stacked as this.
Well, I mean,
field
dude,
is.
Cena, Punk, Rollins, and Romans are the four biggest
That's
stars.
huge.
Spare
That's
Logan
huge.
Paul. Okay,
Yeah.
like now Logan's gonna have a great
Logan
showing.
Paul. Oh, give me Logan Paul. Give me a Logan Paul.
Oh, Tony, you're gonna love this.
Like, oh, that'd be amazing.
You're gonna love what Universal just dropped.
Oh, he's saying Charlotte wins. Charlotte, okay, and he's saying Roman winning the men's. Okay, all right, that would go very good for you, Phil. Just curious if you know the winners of the tag and the world Universal.
I mean,
we know it's going to be Cody.
Yeah, we know. We all know it's going to be Cody. But the tag team matches, I have Motor City Machine Guns. Tony's got DIY, and I just kind of took Motor City Machine Guns because they're really the only chance for the fans to see a title change at the show. And WWE loves showing fans title change.
Well, the reason I'm not so worried about a title change on a 4-match card is because both Rumble matches feel like a championship win in terms of their magnitude. So I don't think a title change is as vital here on this particular card. So I really don't. I'm not too worried about it. But your point's still valid. I get your sentiment. But we're pretty sure Cody's going to win the world title. If you know who's going to win the tag match, I'd love to hear it. By all means, let us know.
Yeah, but
overall, though, like I said, pretty stacked, pretty big, pretty heavy. I agree, Phil. This could be a big one. Do you want to, while we're here, do you want to throw a dark horse pick in for a half a point on the men's and the women's? Since we're here.
Yeah, my dark horse would be Logan Paul.
I love that. Oh, my God,
and you know the deal. A new guy says Dirty Dom is going to be the Iron Man in the Rumble. That would be.
Oh my God, that'd be awesome.
Now when Dom and Ray are in the ring together, that's going to be beautiful.
We could pick an Iron Man for a half a point.
Ooh, that's a good one. Then I'm still sticking with Logan Paul.
Logan, I actually think that makes a lot of sense. That's a great choice, really. And
well, hello, hello, a child of God. Welcome.
My dark horse to win. I think Phil, I'd love to pick.
What is your question,
love to pick
sir?
Drew McIntyre again, but I can't do that in good consciousness.
What?
Man. Oh, this is tough. Iron Man, I think I'm going to go with Rollins, though, as my Iron Man pick. I think he's going to come in early, even if he wins this thing. I think he's going to come in early and probably carry a lot of the workload. My dark horse pick, though, let me just look over the field one more time. It's not Nakamura. Yeah, it ain't going to be Penta. God, could they... Damian Priest, I'm sorry, the ship sailed. Jacob Fatu could be an interesting choice as a dark horse. Sami Zayn could be an interesting choice. I'm going to go with Braun Breaker, though, as my dark horse. Yeah.
You know, I do got to go with a weird one of like, Damian Priest had this very strange thing where there was no transition. He went from the young upstart to that ship's already sailed. He's too old. And it's like, what happened? There was no, he was never middle-aged. He was young upcomer, and now he's old man. A child of God goes, do you guys think AJ Lee will make her shocking return in the Women's Royal Rumble?
I actually do. I think she could. I think she will.
I think she's done. I think she's just done with wrestling. She has no desire to get back in a ring.
We could put a half a point on that, Phil.
Fuck it. Let's do it. Half a point on AJ not showing up.
You
got a half point on
I say yes. Okay.
Yeah, I think she's not going to because, I mean, come on. That's like, there's just, why? Punk's making enough money. And she's got side projects that she don't have to take bumps in the ring anymore. It's kind of why I'm
that-
shocked Jade Cargill came back.
We've got a ton of discrepancies then once this is all said and done. Because, I knew the men's was going to be a lot of the same picks. So I'm glad we have a different 3-point. And
Yeah.
our women's picks are completely all over the place from each other. This could be an interesting one, Phil. I think we've got a lot of opportunity here.
This has been one of the longest reigns in RWP history. But I do have to say, enjoy your last few hours as champion.
Well, Phil, if it comes
because
down to that,
I've got Roman T, and
Nice.
that's pretty much like that. That's going to be it, sir. So Roman's going to win.
That's fine.
And
I think
now if this guy's close, if this guy's anywhere, this Universal guy's right on, then it's going to come down to like who's the Iron Man and did AJ Lee show up? Like it's gonna be a. We will let you know right here at the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast, folks. But as I'm known to say around here, all that being said, folks, this has been our review. Now let us know in the comments what you think is going to happen with each of these matches. Let us know who you think's going to win. And be here after the Rumble at Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast for the analysis of what happened. We'll get into it tonight. We'll get into it tomorrow here at the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast grand relaunch, folks. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for joining us. It's been a long time away, and we're so happy to be back with you on the road to WrestleMania. Yes, and if only we were in perfect time sync, Tony. That would have been awesome. But that tells you how much flag the internet actually gives you, folks. But this has been our preview and prediction of the Royal Rumble. Now find us on Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast on YouTube. You can of course find me, Phil KOE, on YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, and Twitter, all KOE Nation, all very on brand. And I am signing off and handing it off to my indomitable broadcast partner, the one, the only,
the Tony motherfucking G, your 16-time Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast champion. And if tonight's not my night, I will end up being a 17 by the time WrestleMania season rolls around or thereafter. So stay tuned for that. And one last question. If Cena wins the Rumble, who do you think he'll challenge? I think Cody makes the most sense, but kind of depends how they want to go with the rest of the year. So we will see. And we will analysis that after the Royal Rumble concludes, whether it be late tonight or early tomorrow, so at some point this weekend. I promise we're going to get you the review. So like you said, Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast on YouTube, or the Big Bucket Empire on Facebook, folks. That's where you need to be. So thanks for joining us. Good to be back, and we will catch you for the results, recap, ratings, and review. See you then.